afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the UptaCraft shop. Getting my hands back into a little bit of metalworking again. I just can't seem to get enough of it. Carpenter by trade, but the more I start working with metal, the more I'm enjoying it. So here we go. I want to show you what I got in progress here. I posted recently a YouTube short showing me taking the rust off some old split rims off of a Ford F550. What I've got so far is 3 of them that have been completed. What I'm going to pick one up off the floor and take a closer look at it. Okay, so we've got a nice rim here that, aside from some surface rust that was on it, this one's been cleaned up fairly well. There's a lot of metal here. It's a nice heavy gauge, and most of the rust was, I'd consider it surface rust. I mean, there's some mild pitting on the surface of what's left here. But I think I've got it to the point where just a little bit more cleanup, and then maybe a rust converter type paint will fix these up and make them nice and be adequate for a nice little stacked flower planter arrangement. What I'm going to do here is put this down with the other 2. I've got a total of 4 of these rims. 3 of them have been cleaned up so far. Probably going to set them up in an arrangement something like this. And what I'm going to do is, in this area and in that area, leave the bottom of this top ring open so that the dirt that's in this top level can connect with the dirt that is in the 2 lower levels. And then what I'll likely do is find myself a nice heavy gauge piece of sheet metal and cut to fit a shape like that I will then weld in place. That'll prevent dirt from falling out of that elevated portion that's off the slab. So that's the plan. We'll show you some more footage as the project comes together. Okay, so got the 4 split rims all cleaned up last evening. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some basic layout, and we're going to test a couple of ideas on how to stack these in a way to be most aesthetically pleasing. So my wife wanted to see about utilizing the 4th one, and so we're going to either stack the 4th one directly on top of the middle one, or set it back even further. Let's take a look at it, see if I can get it to balance and set up until I can tack it together. Okay, so here's the one option where it's stacked directly on top of the other. This is another option where they are cantilevered back from each other so that every layer exposes a crescent-shaped planting area. Let's try one more idea here. Okay, this idea I think is just a bit more outside the box, but the more I look at it, the more it's growing on me. Ultimately, I'm going to want to have feedback from my wife, let her have her say in it. She's often a good source of advice, especially when it comes to things decorative. So let me show her these ideas, and if you stick with me, you'll see where we landed. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my 4 rims, and we actually landed on choice 3. So what we're going to do is have a series of stacked rims in line with each other that will have the effect of dominoes that have been laid over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack the rims together first, and I want to make sure that they're all in a straight line. I've got my overall dimension of the space I have to work with. It's about 56 inches. And I've laid this out already in such a way that I will be able to have a nominal 12 inches from rim to rim, from one to the next, and that will allow me a nice deep crescent shaped area for planting, and then a football shaped area where the dirt from one will be supported by the dirt from the other. So if I have flowers or anything where the roots want to expand or grow, they won't be contained or pot bound, but they'll be able to spread out. So 4 rims in a row, stacked like laid over dominoes. And we're going to go with a nominal 12 inches edge of rim to edge of next rim. Once those tacks are done, I'm going to take the whole assembly and flip it over. And then I've got some hot rolled sheet metal that I'm going to make crescent shaped pans for, so that the dirt won't fall out through these open cavities underneath. And what I'll do is I will then drill some relief holes at the bottom of each rim, just to allow rainwater and such to drain out, to keep things from rotting or anything like that, or even preliminary rust out of these rims. I think by doing this, it will preserve them and greatly prolong the life of them. Once the assembly is all done and the sheet metal pans are in the bottom and the holes are drilled, I'm going to give the thing one more good grinding, sand it down a bit, look for any rough edges, straighten them out. There's a few minor dents around a couple of these rims. I'm going to see what I can do to straighten them out as well by either heating them up or beating on them with a dead blow hammer. Once that's done, I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to do like a rust preventative primer, and then a good heavy couple coats of finished paint. Color will be the of my wife's choosing. So stick with me and we'll see some video footage of me as I take on these various steps. Okay, so I didn't want to take up a lot of time with gratuitous footage about spot welding. So I just want to show you halfway through the progress I'm making. This has given me an opportunity to use up a lot of small pieces of hot rolled steel. And so you can see that I have a butt joint, probably will be a butt joint on the bottom of each pan. But they're coming out really tight and flush, so I really like it. And so each one of these pans is going to get tack welded from the bottom like this, and I'll flip over and do any insurance tacks on the inside. Now for just a quick once over with the flap disc and the wire wheel. Clean it up, prep it for primer. Okay, so I've got a first coat of primer on my little planter assembly here. And if you look closely, I'll kind of zoom in a little bit for you. I've drilled a series of holes around the bottom perimeter of each pan. I say bottom, they don't look like they're on the bottom right now, but when they're laying on the ground and propped up against the well cover, this will be sitting on a probably about a 3-12 slope. So when this is laying on the ground and in position, those holes will be at the bottom end of each pan, so water should drain out of them quite well. So what I do now is a finish coat on the inside of each pan, and I've picked a color that will go well with the stone in the stone foundation on my house. So let me paint it up. Okay, so here they are, all finished. The color of the inside again is different than the outside, just because I just picked up what they call wheelbarrow paint. So that was just the color they had on the shelf. But you've noticed the outer color is kind of a brownish tan color, which really brings out, pardon the car driving by there, really brings out the color in my stone foundation. So all that's left now is put some soil in it, fill it with flowers.